Conspiracy theorist and radio host Alex Jones now admits the 2012 massacre at Sandy Hook Elementary School is, quote, 100% real. The admission came during testimony yesterday at a trial in which he is being sued for harassment and defamation. Lawyers also revealed Jones lied about not having text messages related to the massacre. The father of a 6-year-old boy killed in the attack addressed Jones Tuesday about the suffering his lies caused them.
I can't even describe the last 9.5 years of the living hell that I and others have had to endure because of the negligence and the recklessness of Alex Jones and his propaganda that he has peddled for his own profits.
Nancy Chen reports with more on this case.
It's 100% real. I think Sandy Hook happened, and I think it's a terrible event.
That reversal from Alex Jones was just the first in a series of surprising revelations on the last day of testimony. In a remarkable exchange, lawyers for the family said they had years' worth of text messages from Jones.
Mr. Jones, did you know that 12 days ago, your attorneys messed up? They sent me an entire digital copy of your entire cell phone with every text message you've sent for the past 2 years.
The lawyer said the messages showed Jones withheld evidence in the defamation lawsuits about the Sandy Hook shooting.
Mr. Jones, in discovery, you were asked, do you have Sandy Hook text messages on your phone? And you said no, correct? You said that under oath.
I mean, if I was mistaken, but you got the messages right there.
You know what perjury is, right?
So Alex Jones has a lot more to worry about now than just a lawsuit.
Alexander Tobbs is a civil rights attorney following the case.
He has to worry about whether he might get arrested for perjury, for obstruction of justice, or for any other criminal activity that's found on those phones.
Last Friday, InfoWars parent company filed for bankruptcy protection. And over the course of the trial, Jones has repeatedly claimed his company is bankrupt.
You may not tell this jury that you are bankrupt. That is also not true.
On Wednesday, lawyers brought up Jones' financials in court, asserting at one point he made up to $800,000 a day from ads.
It goes to motive. Alex Jones exploited the heinous tragedy of Sandy Hook for his own personal gain. And he was saying things that were so outrageous and so unbelievable that it was attracting a lot of viewers to his content. And he capitalized on that.
For more on this, let's bring in attorney Jesse Weber. He's also an anchor at the Law and Crime Network. Jesse, a lot to unpack here. Yeah. Let's first talk about this, frankly, astonishing reversal by him. How much does that matter at this point? And does the jury consider that, given they're deliberating now?
Well, we have to be clear, right? This is a very bad case for Alex Jones. He's already lost. The default judgment's already been entered against him. It's just a matter of damages. Now, I will say that he defended himself in the best possible way by saying, I take accountability, we made a mistake, we've changed the practices of InfoWars. Immediately when I found this out, I did a reversal, and it was the media who kept calling me a Sandy Hook denier when I already kind of backtracked. It's a good defense. The problem is, why should the jury believe him when he's being caught in so many misrepresentations? There's video of him insulting the jury. A few days ago. There's a video of him on InfoWars insulting the plaintiffs from last week. So are we wondering, is this the same Alex Jones or a different Alex Jones?
Right. Is this just a part of the game for him?
Right.
It was also pretty remarkable to hear that his own lawyers accidentally leaked these text messages of his. How does that even happen in the first place? You think you might want new lawyers. And again, can the jury consider those?
It's never great. I'm not entirely sure how that happened. It seems like if this was an error on his attorney's part, that is very problematic. The leaking is one thing. It's what those text messages show. So he gets on the stand and says he has no text messages about Sandy Hook when the messages reveal otherwise. Says he doesn't have an email when these messages show that he does have an email address. And then it's the money concept, because the jury's very curious. If what we award, what can he pay out? How much has he earned? And he said, well, since he's been deplatformed, he's lost so much money, but the text messages reveal the complete opposite. And so I think what the jury's really going to look at is the substance of the messages, apart from the fact that his attorneys maybe made an incompetent mistake and actually sent those over without labeling them as privileged in any way.
And the judge even admonishing him on the stand for lying under the oath. How did the number 150 million, what the plaintiffs are asking for, how did that number come to be?
Nikki, that's a great question. So it's 75 million per plaintiff, per parent. And the reason they came to that number is their attorneys came forward and said 24% of the American population, 1 in 4, believed Alex Jones. That is $1 for every 75 million Americans. And I think that's a really prophetic number. I'm not sure that's what the jury's ultimately going to come back with, but that's how they ultimately came back with the number. And by the way, that's compensatory damages. They have a separate part of that trial where they have to determine punitive damages. How much do they want to punish Alex Jones for intentional wrongdoing?
So interesting. And then just quickly, Alex Jones is saying this lawsuit is an infringement on his First Amendment rights. Is that only legal bearing?
It would have had bearing if he actually tried to fight this. As I said, there was a default judgment entered against him because he didn't actually respond to this lawsuit. He could have fought that to determine whether or not he's liable for defamation or intentional infliction of emotional distress. He chose not to do that. The court ruled against him. That argument, I think, is a little, too late.
What a case. Jesse Weber, thanks. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.